Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Shreya Dhoundial. You're watching the Urban Debate here on Mirror Now. These are our top 8 stories at the top of 8. India's biggest airline, Indigo, starts levying fuel charge on all its flights starting today. The new fee sees hike in flight prices ranging from 300 rupees to 1,000 rupees. SpiceJet and Air Akasa are also expected to follow suit. 7 people have lost their lives after a high-rise building catches fire in Mumbai's Goregaon. The blaze erupted on the ground floor of a society. Several shops and vehicles have been gutted. Over 50 people are believed to be injured. 41 people dead as Sikkim sinks. Over 100 people are still missing. Military firearms and explosives have carried away in the Teesta floods. The army is asking people to be cautious after an incident in Bengal. Pollution season starts in the national capital. The air quality deteriorates to poor in Delhi. The government has ordered the enforcement of measures under stage 1 of the graded response action plan. The Election Commission all set to announce dates for elections in 5 states. They're likely to be held between November and December. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana, Mizoram will vote in one phase. Chhattisgarh will vote in 2. And here is the Neta drunk on power. Just take a look at this. Telangana Home Minister Mahmood Ali losing his cool and slapping his security personnel. This for a delay in providing him a bouquet at a public event. And India continues to dazzle in China. It's won the hockey gold, beating defending champions Japan 5-1. With 100 medals assured, this is India's best Asian Games performance ever in the last 61 years. India's Chandrayaan-3 mission has come to an abrupt end. Former ISRO chief is saying there is no possibility now of waking up Vikram and Pragyan. Contact was lost with both the rover and the lander on September 22nd. If you travel in the festive season, which is just around the corner, most of you would have already booked your tickets in advance. That's the smart thing to do. If not, your travel plans could be entering rough weather. Flight prices for the upcoming holiday season, are already sky high, but they are getting more expensive. In fact, they are more expensive starting today. India's biggest carrier, Indigo, often known as the most budget-friendly airline, has started imposing a fuel charge on your airfare. Why? Because the cost of aviation turbine fuel has risen 29% in the last 4 months, and the airline says they simply have no option. So, passengers will have to shell out between 300 rupees and 100 rupees extra, depending on the distance of your travel. That's the chart on your screens there. So till 500 kilometers, the extra charge that you're paying on your ticket as part of the fuel charge is 300 rupees. And if your journey is above 3,500 kilometers, the fuel charge that you're paying on your ticket is 1,000 rupees. Say, for example, you're flying from Delhi to Mumbai. You now have to pay 550 rupees extra as part of this fuel charge. It will be 650 rupees extra if you're traveling from Delhi to Bangalore and vice versa. Now, Indigo isn't the only one. SpiceJet, another budget airline, has confirmed it will also levy a fuel charge, though the carrier has not revealed details about how much the hike is going to be. Akasa Air, the latest entrant in the airline industry, is also going to impose a similar fee in the coming days. Are airlines justified in imposing this fuel surcharge on passengers? Well, here's their logic. They say since July this year, ATF, which is aviation turbine fuel prices, have shot up by a whopping 29%, including a never-seen-before hike of 14.1% in September. The cost of aviation fuel, they say, is at its highest since December 2022. So it's understandable why air carriers are finding different ways to add revenue to their balance sheets. As you know, ATF makes almost 40% of an airline's operating cost. But is it justified to burden passengers who are anyway shelling big bucks for their air travel, especially in the festive season? After all, it was only a few months ago that airlines were charging unrealistic fares, which had sparked much anger, such anger, in fact, that the government had to intervene. A quick chat with my guest this evening. We are not going to stretch it. Captain Sanjay Karve is an aviation expert. Sarosh Umania is an aviation lawyer. Thank you very much. Captain Karve, your take. Is it justified? Well, yes. No one can deny the fact that ATF prices have gone up 29% in the last, 4 months or so. But is it necessary for airlines to pass that burden on us passengers?
Shreya, this is a very interesting and an unreasonable question. When the fuel prices have gone up by as much as 30%, and when most of the airlines are having their balance sheet in red, what do you expect the airlines to do? Get into corporate social responsibility and go further down in red, where the entire public would get up, hue and cry and say, oh, this airline is running in loss. Now, if this airline runs to the government and say, please help me, the government will turn back and say, we are a free society today, free market today. Who stopped you from raising the fare? It's a catch-22 situation. If you look at it from the other point of view, I agree. This is a wrong time to raise fares. But have a look at your ticket, which is a year old. You have something known as an aviation security fee. Now the government is charging you to provide security. Isn't that ridiculous? It is like asking a common citizen, like, listen, you pay 100 rupees every month because I got a police station within 5 kilometers of your residence. Why should the government be charging an aviation security fee on every ticket? And this has been going on for years. And no one seems to ask a question as to why this fee has come in. The user development fee, which is being charged for last God knows how many years. So when the government says that we have updated or upgraded your airports, it is actually you and me, who are the traveling people. We are the ones who are contributing to updating the airport. RCS, UDAN scheme. We are the ones who are contributing towards it. Why no questions being asked on this? Now, if the government decides to give you a subsidy on this fuel, what about the common man who travels by a state transport bus or a public transport in, say, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, or Kolkata? Why shouldn't he also get subsidy? What is so special about air travel that they need to get subsidy at the cost of an airline's balance sheet? I am sure most of us have shares in airline companies. As a shareholder, you would like to ask the company management as to what have they done to ensure that the company doesn't get into red. It must generate, it's a business entity. It has to generate profit. An airline industry is not a corporate social responsibility. UDAN scheme, yes. It is a corporate social responsibility, which is again being funded by the people. But an airline industry is not a social responsibility.
Fair point. Fair point. You're saying, A, if the government even offers a subsidy to airlines for ATF, there'll be a big hue and cry, right? There
Absolutely.
will be a massive hue and cry. It's okay for a subsidy to be given on gas cylinders under the Ujjwala scheme, but certainly not okay, and none of us will be okay if the government offers a subsidy on ATF. I completely agree with you there. Just come in here, Sarosh Umania. The question that, and the points that Captain Karve is raising seem to be very logical. A, question the government over the various fee they charge you every time you're flying or every time you're buying a ticket. For example, the aviation security fee, the user development fee. No one is asking the government questions on these two charges that the government of India is levying on us. Everyone is asking questions on why airlines should, are increasing the price of tickets, especially during festival season. Captain Karve is saying, in the aviation industry, saying, where is the choice? Fuel ka price bada, to ticket ka price to badega na.
See, as far as the prices levied by the government or the surcharges levied by the government, of course, as the name suggests, they are self-explanatory to the aspect that is providing securities to the passengers at the airport, and other is development of the airport. So those are justified. Here, what happens today is the airlines in their tickets are already quantifying for the fuel cost. So when the ticket price, which is formed, already the increment of the cost of the fuel is taken into consideration at the time of selling the ticket. Now, in addition to the cost which is already being calculated in the ticket, they are additionally going to charge the passenger fuel surcharge fee based on kilometer basis. Now, this is a double pricing mechanism which is unfair completely from the passenger perspective, because when they're already being, or otherwise, of course, the airlines should disclose that no, we will not charge any part of the fuel in our ticket price and we will charge the fuel separately. That has to be fair. Now, today, here the passenger is being burdened. In one case is the tickets are going to always have their upper price, lower price. They are going to keep on fluctuating. And so they have to pay for the fluctuating price of ticket. Plus, in addition to that, they will pay 300 or 400 or 500 fuel surcharge, which is going to be addition to that. So that is not going to change. So Indigo is not saying that I am going to keep Delhi-Bombay ticket at 6,000 rupees and going to only charge fuel surcharge. They might keep on changing it to 3,000, 6,000, 8,000. And above that, they have to pay this. So this is double pricing, which is happening on the consumer end or for the passenger end. And I think this is very unfair, and the Civil Aviation Ministry should come into this picture that this is like paying service charge at restaurants. The waiters were already getting salary. Then you say you want to, why is there being a mandatory service charge being introduced in there when the food content already had the service aspect? This is a similar thing with fuel. My ticket already has the ingredient of fuel in it, and you tell me pay in addition to that for the same thing. And there is no justification. Airlines is giving no disclosure
Captain
how much fuel they have quantified. So this is being totally unfair to the passengers. So there has to be a justification.
Captain
for it.
Karve, respond to that. Cheating is, एक minute. Captain Karve, respond to that. Cheating is that this is double pricing. पैसा तो आप ले रहे हैं ना हमसे for fuel every time I buy a ticket. Why this extra surcharge for fuel over and above?
Now, in June, let's say hypothetically, the fare from here to Delhi was 100 rupees. The fuel prices was 30% lower. Today, the fuel prices have gone up by 30%. The fuel price remains, the price of the ticket still remains 100 rupees or goes up to 110. How do I cover up for those 20 rupees? His suggestion is wonderful, but it will be deterrent or it will be detrimental to a common consumer if actually the airlines start distinguishing, saying that, look, this is my base fare, this is my fuel surcharge. The fuel amounts to about 48% of the total fare an individual pays. So the moment you start segregating this, it is going to be a very tricky situation, because every day you'll find the price changing, like on petrol pumps. Today I fill up fuel at 110 rupees, tomorrow I'm doing it at 112 rupees. Everyone talks of that, oh, fuel prices, when the world market comes down, we will come down. I don't remember in last 2 years the fuel price ever coming down, though the world markets have moved up and down. Same thing will happen in the airline industry. They would be more than happy to have a base fare from place A to place B and then say fuel charges from Mumbai to Delhi is so much. And when he says Mumbai to Delhi, he will say, listen, I got a 20 minutes holding at Delhi, so I'm going to cater for that. Add to it the other problem of VAT. The Civil Aviation Minister has been requesting all the state governments to reduce the VAT. 18% is the tax which is being levied by Mumbai and Bangalore. Delhi is levying 25%. Chennai is levying 29%. If you make this tax rational, your prices will automatically come down. But none of the state governments are willing to do it, because their logic, unfortunately, today is air travel is a rich man's game. It is not for an average person. That is how it works. That is why you find the airport restaurants, the airport tea and coffee cost 200 rupees. The logic is, if you can buy an air ticket, you can definitely pay 200 rupees. Further, if you look at Indigo's balance sheet, It shows a huge amount of profit in in-flight catering. My question is, a sandwich which is available at the airport for 100 rupees, I'm not willing to buy that. But I'm willing to shell 200 rupees for the same sandwich on board the aircraft. Why this difference? If you're paying, who is going to pay for that additional fuel?
Okay.
The easiest solution is to reduce the VAT, make it rational. 18%, 29%, 32%. This is the VAT. And what carrot do we offer? Oh, if you're flying a turboprop, small turboprop aircraft, I will come down to 5%. Who flies by an 8-seater turboprop? A common man. No one. A small turboprop charter prices range from 1,15,000 to 1,30,000 per hour. One has to be rational thinking about this pricing. The government needs to step in by enforcing the state governments to reduce the VAT.
Sarosh, the fact is that the aviation minister had spoken about this a couple of months ago, saying that I am requesting all states to reduce VAT as far as airlines are concerned. It's not happened. So why blame the airlines? Someone has to pay for this increased cost as far as aviation fuel is concerned. It is coming down to the consumer because the government doesn't want to chip away at its profits. Look at the percentage of VAT we are paying. 18% in Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai is 29%, 25% is in Delhi. That can be rationalized. Why is that not being rationalized? Instead of asking questions of the government, why are we always asking questions of the airline?
See, as far as the government is concerned and the rates which are there, today the issue before us at our hand is this extra fuel charge which is there. Now, if you see, now they are saying the fuel charge is going to change every day or the fuel prices are changing every day. Now, this what basis have they calculated this surcharge fee of 300, 500, 600, whatever it is? Now, every day, are they going to keep on revising it every month, or are they going to keep it same every? Because the fuel price, as if we take it their way also, the fuel prices are changing every day and we cannot alter tickets. So, what is the base price, or how is this fuel surcharge amount calculated, and how have they been doing that? And one thing is, again, I would like to say that the price of the ticket has already calculated the fuel cost. And of course, airline do calculate the holding cost, delay clause, as old captain has just said, all the costs which are stated by him are already accounted for. Of course, the taxation of the government is also accounted for while pricing the tickets. So all the aspects are already being taken into consideration for pricing the air ticket. And this is beyond and above that, this is a special fee which they are charging. So that is not justified. So otherwise, let them in full disclosure, have a disclosure that we will not charge anything regarding fuel in that, and you pay separately for the fuel aspect. But you can't have, it is an airline industry. As an industry, they are selling your ticket, it is a package deal. When I'm paying for the airfare, I am paying for the services on ground, in the air, everywhere. So airline can't tell me that today I put on the AC at the terminal, so you pay me for the terminal. That is their job to have the service provided to me. So everything has to be accounted for in the ticket price. I am not saying that they should charge me less or they should charge me more. Whatever is reasonable, whatever is fair, they should charge me. But they should also be fair to the consumer, to the passenger. That is putting an additional charge without being any justification. Only what we are hearing is the fuel prices have gone up. Yes, the fuel prices have gone up. There is no denying the fact. But you can adjust the ticket prices accordingly. So now what they are going to do is, as per the fuel and as per the festive demand, the prices of the tickets are going to go up. And so when I go to buy an Indigo ticket now, that will show me 5,000 rupees. But when I click select and go to the final page, it will add the surcharge of 500 rupees. So I might not book. So it is unfair trade practice also here. If you see the final figure, what I'm paying for, it is going to be higher. And this would be deterrent to the competition also, that I might see a cheaper fare for Indigo. Then when I go finally, I might not book Air India because it was 500 rupees expensive. But in the end, I'm going to pay 1,000 rupees more for Indigo.
No, Sarosh, so but that happens everywhere. No, sir, that happens everywhere. If you go to any of the travel websites, the price of hotel, the price of per night for hotel is something, and then the taxes are never, shown. Once you book, once you're trying to book, is when you realize that it is XYZ% extra, because those are the taxes that need to be catered in. Captain Karve, I'm going to give you 10 seconds. I'm out of time. I'm going to... Give me 10, Captain Karve, just 10 seconds here. To respond to the point of unfair practices, and B, why should state governments, if you're asking VAT to be rationalized by state governments, why should state governments subsidize airlines or airline tickets?
State government is not subsidizing the airline ticket or the airlines. It is the fuel. Whether you look at the normal fuel, that is a petrol, diesel, or ETFK, the government of India has really got no control over the taxation. They have always been wanting to get this under a uniform tax regime, which none of the state governments are agreeing, because this is the best way to cut down on your budgetary deficit. Increase the fuel prices, impose some tax. You give it any fancy name. You have a COVID tax, you have a post-COVID tax, you have a pre-COVID tax, you have a pre-budget tax, post-budget tax, and no one complains. Now, talking about your festivities, you buy I know it's a slightly odd comparison. A normal Kaju Katli per kilo will be 600. During Diwali, that same Kaju Katli from the same shop sells at 800 rupees. There's no difference in quality. He's also making profit. He's utilizing the festivities. I agree, it's a private entity. The government has got no control. Same is the case with an airline. It's an industry. It's got a balance sheet. If I am a shareholder of that company, I have a right to know why my company is losing money. He is there in business. He is not here for a social responsibility. He has to make profit. He's also got 10,000 employees. How does he pay them? He's also paying taxes to the government. The government is not giving him any tax rebates for connecting city A to city B. No. If you actually look at Udan and be very honest to yourself, how many points have been actually connected with Udan? You will get the answer yourself. There is no cheating involved here.
We'll leave it there. I think both of you have made very strong points. You're saying there is no cheating by the airlines here. What they are doing is out of necessity. There is no option. But on the other hand, Sarosh says this is almost like double pricing. And tell us why you are, tell us why you are making us pay what you're making us pay. We'll leave it there for the moment, gentlemen. I think both of you have made your points and made your points fairly strongly. We'll leave our viewers to decide whether the airline is doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Sarosh, thank you very much. Captain Karve, thank you very much as well for joining us on the broadcast.